This FAQ Monday is sponsored by Musician. Well, hello and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I am your host, Fluff, and if you have a question, feel free to leave them on down below or go on over to my Ask FM account thing and ask away. I could use some more questions, and obviously I could use some more coffee too. I'm almost out. I don't know why I drank this before turning on the camera. What am I doing? My coffee needs some coffee. First question, what's your opinion on Gibson bass guitars? Interesting question. I think I would have never known about the RD guitar without first having seen Chris Novoselic in Nirvana with his 70s RD bass on all those early Nirvana videos and stuff like that. I think Gibson basses, especially the ones of like the Norlin era, are kind of unsung heroes. The grabber that Chris used as well. And then he used the Ripper, I believe. The difference being the headstock primarily in the pickup configuration. Anyway, grabber, let's see, Gibson RD bass, Gibson grabber bass, the Gibson Ripper bass, prominently used by guys like Gene Simmons and Riley from Thrice, amongst many, many other players. The Victory bass was super, super cool. Sean from White Zombie used to use one of those. I really like Gibson 70s basses and 80s basses. And Gibson had another bass recently that Matt from Bring Me the Horizon used to use. It was kind of a Strat looking shape with a, two on a side headstock. Gibson basses are actually pretty sick, aren't they? I've always really wanted a Ripper though. I've always wanted a Ripper bass just because of the Nirvana connection, or a grabber bass. I mean, it's the same body really. But yeah. Gibson basses are actually pretty sick when you think about it. What's up with YouTube guitarists who prominently featured 7 and 8 string guitars moving almost exclusively back to 6s? I can only speak for myself, but I mean, for me, the playing 7 strings that I briefly did for about a year on the channel was just me publicly giving it a shot, trying it out. And I didn't end up really feeling that comfortable with the 7-string guitars. As I have said in the past, it always, for me, felt like driving someone else's car. I can do it, but I don't really want to. It's not really comfortable doing so. 6-string just feels like home. And in a lot of cases, we initially maybe get 7 strings for that extra low note, but string gauges are as such now, and packs of strings are as such now, where they've kind of caught up with the tunings that modern players are using, so you don't necessarily have to have a 7-string guitar just to tune down and do the chuns, right? You can do that on a 6-string now. And there's extended range 6-string now, whereas, for a second there, you didn't see a lot of the extended range or the fan fret stuff on the 6-string as much as you saw them on like a 7-string. I'm not really talking about 8 strings or 9 strings for that matter, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just players growing and knowing what they like most, is my guess. Not all 7 and 8-string guitars are created equal, of course. However, for me, I suspect that it's just, players going back to what they were most originally comfortable with, which is cool. Like, I dig it. Musician is an online music education service that makes learning new music fun, affordable, and easy. Great combination. Now with Musician, you can learn how to play guitar, bass, piano, ukulele, and even sing. There's all sorts of stuff to choose from. And all you have to do is download the app from your phone, tablet, or computer and just start playing. Now I want to emphasize that no special adapters or cords are necessary to use Musician. Musician uses the microphone built into your iPad or your iPhone or your computer to listen to what you are playing, and then gives you real-time feedback in how you're doing. How awesome is that? Now there are thousands of expertly crafted lessons and exercises for you to choose from on Musician, and there's all sorts of categorized lists for all sorts of popular songs. So that song you've been humming all day, you can learn how to play it and then play it even more with Musician. Now, for me personally, I really liked the element of not having some sort of special dock for my iPad or cord or USB adapter or something like that. It really, really listens and is intuitive with the app and me playing. So when I have my acoustic guitar and I play a chord wrong, it's instant. It's like as if I'm there with a real teacher sitting and getting real-time feedback and not just some robotic thing saying, nope, do it again, do it again. I really felt like learning a song was seamless and easy, and I don't really feel like that very often. Now, if you use the link down below in the description, Musician is offering you guys an extended trial of 14 days, an unlimited access 14-day trial to just see if you like it, poke around and see what interests you. You can do any instruments and any songs totally unlocked for 14 days. So you have 14 days to basically learn Poker Face by Lady Gaga. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking into using the Helix's pitch shifter to be able to practice in a different tuning. Is this a bad idea? Yes. Yeah, I don't think that's a very good idea. I wouldn't do that for a few reasons. First, the Helix's pitch shifting isn't great. And I hate to say that, but it's not polyphonic for one. So it's good on like single note stuff and things like that. We use that in Dragged Under for like dropping an octave down and going back up with the whammy thing. That's cool, but to actually like playing like different tunings and doing open chord stuff, it's not as good as something like the Fractal. Although the Fractal still has its shortcomings as well. Honestly, no one ever perfected pitch shifting like Digitech. EHX, Electroharmonics, got close with the POG, but that's still an octave effect. And the Pitchfork is all right. I think it was definitely in second place behind the Digitech drop pedal. But I would just get a drop pedal and put it in the loop, honestly. Or not even put it in the loop, just go straight into the drop and then go into the Helix. The drop tracks flawlessly. And it's like, I think it's $179 or something like that. So it's not crazy expensive for what you're getting. And a Whammy 5 will do the same thing. You know, the drop is essentially the detuning circuit out of the Whammy 5. So if you get a Whammy 5, you can do everything the drop does. But you have an expression pedal, which is nice. Yeah, I wouldn't use the Helix for pitch shift stuff, especially with chords, like playing in alternate tunings. That's not really what it's for. Unless you have something like a Variax, which you did not mention in your comment. But if you have like a Line 6 Variax, then by all means do that, because it's awesome. But if you don't have a Variax, then just go with a Digitech drop pedal. My band recently went through a member lineup change of a 6-year-old band, and I am the only original member left. And we don't know if we will play the older stuff yet or not. Would you start over with a new name and ditch the old songs, or would you keep it the same? Well, I mean, speaking from experience on that exact thing happening to me, basically, I would start over. I would start fresh and drop all of the baggage that comes with using that old band. Sometimes moving forward requires you to evaluate what you really have. And if all you have is a bunch of baggage and drama and member changes and fans that can't keep track of who's in the band at any given time, drop the old stuff, start fresh, change the name, get your own identity, and have more control over it this go-around, this new go-around. I don't know, starting fresh has its merits for sure. I mean, if you've been around for 6 years, you know, yeah, you've probably built up something, especially locally, playing with shows and stuff like that, but you know, bands break up, man, and new bands form out of the ashes of those old bands. That's just how it goes, and sometimes they hit, and sometimes they don't. So I would encourage you to just start fresh, start with some members that actually want to do it, and just, you know, go from there. It's okay. Your old music will always be there for fans that want to listen to it. Like with Rest Repose, like all that stuff is still on Spotify and iTunes. I kept it all up. So yeah, the music will always live on, but yeah, just put your energy into something fresh and new. You'll be better off for it in the long run. What do you think of the new Gideon album? I actually really like the new Gideon album. There's elements of like new metal and like kind of rap-ish style. It really, being from a time when new metal ruled the world, it really reminds me of like a fresh new take on like 1999, 2000 era nu metal sometimes, but then they go back to like super hard hitting hardcore. It's just heavy and it's just awesome. It's a fresh take on what mixing hardcore and other elements can be. And they're really leading that charge along with Knock Loose. Yeah, new Gideon album, Out of Control, is awesome. If you don't know of Gideon or have not heard the new Gideon album and like it heavy and punishing, definitely check out the new Gideon record because it's really, really good. How should I deal with the volume jump from the green to the blue channel on my EVH 5153 50 watt Mark I head? Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, that was always kind of the deal with those amps. Like you choose one or the other. I don't know if there's any solutions other than getting rid of it and getting a Mark II head like I got with the stacked volume pots, which is ultimately how they dealt with that. However, I can't help but think maybe some kind of a compressor or switchable limiter or something in the loop of the amp might be a solution. I'm not really sure. I never really figured out how to deal with that issue on those amps. If any of you Mark I 5153 50 watt owners would like to chime in down below in the comments, by all means, please let me know because I'm not really sure on that one. And now Fluff reads a tweet. Okay, which one of you bastards signed me up for the Black Star Amps newsletter? Seriously, someone did. My suggestion to you this week is to check out the new album from my homies, Into the Flood, Cycles of Self. Very, very heavy album. It explores a little bit more range than maybe old listeners are used to listening to, and I really, really like it. The heavies are heavier, the lighter stuff is lighter. No, not. The lights are lighter, the darks are darker. There's just more range all around, and it's just, mwah. If this album was food, it would be, you know those, you know when you have spaghetti and you have a piece of garlic bread that has like a lot of butter on it? That's the album. That's the bread with the garlic and the butter, and you just like, oh, I want just the bread. Screw the spaghetti, I want the bread. That's this album. So if you like heavy stuff, definitely check this out. I will link down below in the description. All applicable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Wow, another video gone by. Hope it was pretty good. I mean, it's probably pretty good. But if it wasn't, awkward, right?